What's going on, everyone? So today we are going to talk about Bitcoin because something interesting is actually forming up in the charts on Bitcoin. So we got to talk about that today. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice, but let's jump straight into this, guys. So as you can see, pretty flat for the day for Bitcoin, 24 hours, down 0.8%, not bad. Still up 5.2% in the last 7 days, 3.2% in the last 14, 4.5% still in the last 30 days, and still up over 66% in the year. So that's pretty good. 2.2 billion market cap, all good there. So I want to show you guys what I just discovered here on the charts. I was thinking and I was wondering, this looks so weird. Like, why do we get higher highs here and then all of a sudden we get a lower high and then it starts to look like we're recovering? Well, maybe because as we're recovering within a bearish expanding wedge. Look at this, guys. A bearish expanding wedge. And this isn't the only thing that I was looking at, right? I was also looking at the fear and greed index for Bitcoin, right? Or for all of crypto. If you look down here, when we had the crash around the 18th, when Trump did his whole his rounds, did what he usually does, we had everything going down, and we had the fear and greed index all the way down here at 27. So 27 is actually in fear. 27, we were actually almost at extreme fear, which kind of makes me think that we're probably about to have another rally like right now. And that's why I kind of wanted to make this video. I think we're about to have another rally soon. So I'm kind of squashing my thesis here, right, on what I've been talking about before. So we're going to go over here to the weekly chart and look at this. So on the weekly chart, I had a thesis of we dropped 32% before, right? When we first started this rally back in 2024. And then we dropped another 32% coming into 2025, right? Another 32%, another bull flag here, and then a falling wedge here. But now this one is different. I thought we were going to go down 32. We didn't go down a full 32 because this one is the one that breaks the pattern. Instead of two bearish patterns, this one throws up a bullish one. So, or I mean, instead of two bullish ones, it throws up a bearish pattern. Because as you can see, the bull flag is bullish. The falling wedge is bullish. Look, as you can see here, falling wedge, that's bullish. If we have a bull flag, that's bullish. But the third time, it just so happens that we broke the cycle here. And now we're inside a bearish expanding triangle, as you can see here. So it does make sense that we wouldn't just drop the whole 32%, definitely considering that we're changing up the whole pattern now. So we would have went down to about 85K. And that's what I was talking about. Because if we're going to continue this pattern, we go down 32% like before. But this is the end of the rally. So this is why this time is different. As you can see, everybody's talking about crypto. People who've never talked about crypto before are talking about crypto. Everybody's talking about crypto. Crypto is everywhere. Everything's going crazy. So as you can see here, this is a bearish expanding triangle. And you can see here, we're trading in a bearish expanding triangle. So yeah, listen up. So this is what I think is about to happen here for Bitcoin. I think we're cooking up for a rally right now. And as we are cooking up for this rally, I remember when I was showing everyone this %R trend exhaustion, it was predicting that we come down here. But remember, yes, it was a pattern for these two, but the third time it just now broke. The pattern broke. So we might not see this happen, and we might just see this coming back up, the %R trend exhaustion. The white line is the short-term trend. And notice the short-term trend kind of looks like it's about to start curving upwards. If you look at the long-term trend, it's already kind of, looking like it's trying to stay up. So there's a possibility that we could be coming up on there as well. And we're also now seeing on the MACD two very lightly shaded red little candlesticks here on the MACD. That usually indicates that more buying is coming in, more buying momentum. So that is another thing too that I've noticed right there. So I think we are primed for a breakout here pretty soon. And this is the weekly chart. So let's go a little bit deeper in here. Let's dive a little bit deeper. We are getting rejected a little bit on the 117K resistance, but I think we're about to blow past it and get back up to 123K really soon, like going into November, like beginning of November soon, right? But we're also getting like a whole interest rate decision with the Fed and all this other stuff. So if something bad happened with the Fed, hypothetically speaking, it has the possibility to kind of delay this process, but everything's set in stone. No matter what happens with the Fed, no matter what they do, whether they lower interest rates, it doesn't matter. All this is set in stone. The way the prices are moving, the way people are moving money into Bitcoin, this is a huge bubble waiting to burst. So what is going to happen next? First, this is the daily chart. So we're seeing more buying momentum, more buying pressure coming in on the MACD here on the daily chart. And then we're also seeing on the percent R trend exhaustion, we're bouncing off an oversold area here. And now that's straight upwards from there. Okay. So we should be going up to previous all-time highs very, very soon and probably end up breaking those. And this is what I expect to happen. I expect something like this, like us trying to get into it. Maybe the Fed does something else and it kind of pushes us down, maybe to 108K, maybe like bear trap people right here, make people think it's going to go lower, right? And then boom, it just bursts out from there, comes into November hot, maybe like mid-November or something, just hot, just boom, comes all the way up here, creates a new all-time highs like right out the gate after passing 125K, getting up to 140K. And then people think, oh man, that might be the top. And then, pulling back a little bit to 122, and then boom, something else happens. Or maybe we pull all the way back down to 110K, another shakeout, right? Another liquidation, because they love doing this. So maybe we get another liquidation, right? And then if they do that, then we come all the way down to here to like 110K again, and then boom. And like I said, remember what I said inside of my previous videos. I said anywhere between 150K to about 170K, I believe is going to be the top of Bitcoin. But I'm leaning more towards 150K. So look at all those videos, and that's kind of how I've been saying it. Like I'm leaning towards 150K. It does look like this is going to be the area where it stops. Remember, they could always try to get a little bit higher, but I feel like after 150K, I feel like we might have a crash inside of Bitcoin here. And remember what I've also been saying. I've been saying, I think by December, or not December, I think by January or February of next year, we are going to have the end of the market. It's going to be the peak, and then we're going to have a crash. What happens by then? Well, look, right up here, right as you get to the top of this bullish or this bearish expanding wedge, bearish expanding triangle, actually, right as you get up to the top of it, that's right in February, right up there. So this is very interesting how everything's playing out. I would just say be prepared for anything, be prepared for whatever. Actually, I gotta pull this up a little bit more, this Fibonacci, and then so maybe even by the end of February, actually, I had to pull that Fibonacci up to the all-time high here. So yeah, that's still about 157K. So somewhere around that area by February, I think that's going to be the end of the market here. February, sometime maybe end of February, going right into March. People think, oh, we're going to keep rallying. February was good. January was good. December was good. November was good. We're going to keep rallying. And then we're going to be inside of the beginning of March, and then everything's going to start going down, and they're going to like, oh no, we're going to rebound. We just went from 157K down to 145. We're going to rebound. And then it's not going to do it. It might do a double top like last time. Start creating new lows. Start creating bearish signals going down there. You already know the whole 9 yards with that. But look, guys, these chart patterns, they're not always right too. Remember, they're not always right. So we got to talk about that as well. So also, guys, also be careful where you get your information from. A lot of people don't even know about a bearish expanding triangle. So you can see it here, the bearish expanding triangle. But if you look it up, you even see some people have it kind of misconstrued here a little bit, because some people are looking at it as bullish. Some people are looking at it as bearish. Is there a possibility it could break out to the upside of a bearish expanding triangle? Yes. But there's also a different type of expanding triangle. There's also a bullish expanding triangle. Usually when it's bullish, it's going down in a downtrend and doing the expanding triangle. But when it's bearish, it's going up in the uptrend and doing the expanding triangle, just like the bearish rising wedge. And these type of chart patterns have some of the higher percentages of chart patterns, because a bullish symmetrical triangle, like that, only has a 54% win rate. But these ones, the bearish expanding triangle, they're up there. They're like 82% success rate if you were going to be shorting. So it's, this is something that a lot of people get wrong, but it is what it is. It looks literally exactly like this. Like, it makes you think that we're going to have like a huge breakout, right? But then you actually have like a huge blow off top, because like we were going crazy and we keep pumping and pumping and going and going and going and keep coming back up and down. Eventually it just ends up, just dying out. But anyways, this is another one that shows it pretty well. So yeah, you can see it here, the bearish expanding triangle. I can probably open that up on a new tab here. I don't know if we can. Yep, there it is right there. So yeah, this is if you guys want to screenshot this one has all the patterns. This one has every single pattern here. But yeah, this is definitely a bearish expanding triangle here. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this thing's gonna go down to the downside or what? It has over 80% chance to break down. So yeah, I say give it to sometime February of next year. Probably by the end of February of next year, this market's going to be done for a little bit, and then you're probably going to end up seeing a pretty big crash, I think, all the way back down to about 85k Bitcoin. Well, the high of the previous rally, as well as the low of the last dip, which was all the way down here. So that's 75k, because it's right on both of those levels here. Last rally, last dip. You zoom out, where was it? Last rally, boom, boom, boom. So about 85k to 74k, because remember back here we topped out a little bit lower over here, about 74k, and then it bottomed out at about 85k. So it bottomed out at 75k. So I think it's going to be more so about 75k rather than 85, because you got to look at the lows here, the highs here, and it's kind of close to it back there. So yeah, about 75k is where we should be once this market crashes. And I'm gonna probably load up on a lot of stuff at that point. And when I say a lot of stuff, probably like Bitcoin. And there's a possibility too that it pulls back a little bit further. There's always that possibility. Don't ever think that the bottom is in. Like, there's always a possibility. But I think institutions are gonna step in around like 74k Bitcoin. But anyways, moving on from that, we do have a lot of positive stuff going on right now that could actually push us higher. So a lot of people seem to think that Bitcoin has peaked, and I've been seeing this a lot lately, and they're saying like historical patterns, but I don't care about the historical patterns. I care about what is happening now. And this is a pattern that's historical, the bearish expanding triangle, right? We should continue to rally, and we should create new all-time highs pretty soon, actually. And then we should retrace from those all-time highs, and then we should push and create more, retrace, and then create even higher all-time highs around 157k, 158k, and then just crashing from there, straight down, all the way down 74k. So yeah, I don't agree with the people that think that we've topped out. So that's just how I think. Now we also have more news. Hyperscale Data's Bitcoin holdings surged 30% in 1 week. So we have Hyperscale Data buying more Bitcoin. So 30% in 1 week. So as you can see, the company's Bitcoin holdings represent approximately 50% of its market capitalization of 95.44 million. Hyperscale Data aims to accumulate Bitcoin equal to 100% of its market capitalization as part of its $100 million digital asset treasury strategy. So it might not seem like a big deal. Like, it's just $100 million. Bitcoin has what, 2.2 trillion? Yeah, it doesn't seem like a lot, but that still helps to the overall growth of Bitcoin. It still helps. right? And anyways, we also have another one. So, a Nasdaq listed healthcare company, Prenix, secures $48 million to boost Bitcoin's treasury strategy. I kind of mixed both of those words together. But yeah, $48 million, though, that's pretty big. And if they do that, still, it's going to be going into Bitcoin. And they said over here, long-term goal is to hit $1 billion in annual revenue and $1 billion in Bitcoin holdings within 5 years. So that's a lot. But in the grand scheme of things, it might not look like a lot, but it is, because it's only going to change this number here. Remember, they're one company, and there's a lot of companies doing this. So a lot of companies are changing these two numbers right here. These two numbers, that's the 79 billion. That's the tens of billions. There's a lot of companies doing that. And then you also have the really big companies, like Tesla with the hundreds, right? Really pushing everything up there. Well, they don't have hundreds of billions inside Tesla, but they got billions. They got big money inside of Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. I think that we're going to go through this bullish expanding triangle, and I think it's going to play out very smoothly. I think things are about to take off here pretty soon. I've positioned myself in a few high risk gambles, I guess we can call it, like with CoAI. So this is one of the high risk trades that I'm doing. And I predict that it'll get higher. I predict it might get to $40, but I don't trust it. And I don't trust it at all, because the top 10% of the holders hold 95% of the supply. So I don't trust it. But I do believe we'll have a very big jump here soon, possibly, just like before. So, just kind of, giving you guys a little bit of a hint. This might take off. Might. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. If y'all want to do it at your own risk. Don't do it with money you're not willing to lose. I've already cut my ties with the little $1,000 I put in. I don't really care about it. And I actually bought a little bit up here, and it continued to go down a little bit further. So I think this is a pretty cheap price. But remember, it could continue to go down. I'm going to make a whole nother video on CoAI in my next video. So watch out for that, guys. But shout out to all you guys out there. Shout out to all you members. Again, I think Bitcoin's in a very good position to take off very soon. I mean, just looking at all the charts, all the time frames here, it just looks like the only way for us to go now at this point is up. So, and I know that sounds delusional, but looking at the charts, like I like to go off the charts. Like, I thought we were going to be bearish. I did. I thought we were going to go down to 85K. But now that we've bounced off this bottom base here, that helps me form another opinion. And now that we've bounced off that bottom base, it literally confirms a pattern. 1, 2, 3. And it bounced off there twice. Once here, twice there. Same here. 1, 2, 3. In trading, you need to hit those lines at least three times on those trend lines for it to be a pattern. We've done it. So this is why I think that it is a pattern. And is it possible for it to do something like this and then just crash and dump? Yes. That would just be a good buying opportunity. But I think this is more likely to happen. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Become a member of the channel. I'll go ahead and do any technical analysis on any crypto or stock that you guys want me to go over. If you become a member of the channel, as long as it's not a scam coin or some type of low cap. So all you got to do when you sign up and become a member is leave a comment in any of the videos I have. Leave a comment on any of those videos, and I'll go ahead and make the video for you. So shout out to you guys, become a member. And as always, I'll be back with another video.